Hello and welcome to Gymsocks Sports Talk Podcast. This is the very first episode. I have no idea what I am doing, but I do know that I love sports and I love athletes. I really do. I love athletes because I am a non-athlete. I do not have a lot of athletic ability, so when I see people do things, I don't know, like jump 3 feet in the air, I get pretty excited. My first guest doesn't do much jumping, I'll say. He plays goalie for the Concordia Thunder. His name is Griffin Bowerman. He's played 4 years in the AJ for the Camrose Kodiaks before this year, and in 2021-22, he started playing for the Thunder and has been lights out. He started in 7 games and hasn't lost a single one of them this year, posting a .947 save percentage with a 1.62 goals against average. The guy is a total stud. He's been a very good goalie all throughout his AJ career, but is really putting it together here for Concordia. So I thought it would be fun to sit down, talk with him, and ask where the success is coming from, as well as a plethora of other pointed and non-pointed questions. In fear of this intro going too long, I will wrap it up there. I will say that you can check out Gymsocks Sports on YouTube for other sports content by me. Without further ado, this is episode 1 of Gymsocks Sports Talk.
Let's go!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel, Gymsocks Sports. Thank you to Painted Animals for that wonderful intro music, which we didn't hear here, but you are hearing at home. Yes, very special guest today, Griffin Bowerman. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Good to be here.
Excited.
You are excited. So you said you've done like one other media thing before.
Yeah. A couple years ago, I did one with a couple guys that own a goalie shop in Calgary, actually, where I got my equipment from. So they asked me to hop on the podcast, and I said, "Why not? Might as well."
So you were selling their goalie gear?
No. They're just talking to me about playing in Camrose and playing junior hockey and what it was like, and just kind of similar to this, I would assume, like just kind of basic hockey talk. And,
basic hockey
yeah,
talk.
There's
a couple things that I had noticed about your game in particular that I definitely want to call you out on because I think you're kind of a funny guy, and I'm sure you've heard that a little bit. I should probably talk into the mic the whole time. That's probably a smart thing to do. So first, I don't need to look at my notes for that. But first, I wanted to ask you just your initial impressions because your first year at Concordia.
Yeah.
I guess we should say that's where you play. You play at Concordia. So first year university during COVID, and then first year at like playing net in university. What has that transition sort of been like, and what are your first impressions of the program?
Yeah. So I was actually pleasantly surprised when I came to Concordia. Like this year has been awesome, and I've had a lot of kind of opportunity from Joey. He's been super good to me and like treated me really well. So I've had a lot of opportunity to play. It's definitely a different league than junior than what I'm used to. It's a lot older. Guys are hitting harder. Guys are shooting the puck harder. They're a little bit smarter. So it's been good so far though. I got nothing but good things to say about it, and it's been a lot of fun just playing, and we're having good success as a team this year as well. So it's kind of like the first time in my hockey career where a team's been doing this well for me. So it's a different kind of scene, and it's a change of pace for me. Like in junior, we finished like 4th place out of 8 teams every year, and we were kind of middle of the pack every year. So it's kind of nice to actually be like one of the teams where people are coming in to play us, and they're like, oh, like we're playing the Thunder, like this is gonna be a tough game. Like we got to actually work for this one. So it's awesome so far being here, and then like hopefully we could just kind of keep it going throughout the season. And
no reason why you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was talking to Joey. He said that it was like the best start Concordia's had in a long time.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of that do you think? Because I guess you didn't know the coach before. It's your first year here, but have you heard sort of from the room that like, hey, this Bouchard guy really knows what he's doing. This is a good guy to play for.
Yeah, for sure. Guys are like some of the older guys got stories about their old coach and just saying that like he didn't really care about the team and didn't really care what was going on if they won or lost. He was just kind of there like to be a face on the bench sort of thing. So
a stepping stone.
Yeah, and then they got Joey in, and ever since Joey's been here, like you could see like the program's had a lot more success, and it's been kind of just getting better every year and every season with new players, new team and stuff. And so guys are kind of starting to buy into his systems because we see that it works, and he's been really good to me so far as well. So
and your guys' penalty kill is something I always wanted to bring up because holy smokes. I was talking to Coach Bouchard about that. He even said, he's like, you can't really coach some of that.
Yeah.
Some of that is just like them playing for each other. And I think of one guy like Davidson in particular.
Yeah.
Like when you're in net, on the penalty kill, and you're focused up, and you see them take those crazy swings for poke checks to try and knock it off the line and get that 2-on-1. Are you a fan of that? Are you like all for?
I love it. like my
not like just play your position. I got a job to do. No.
Yeah. No, like I've never played with a guy like a defenseman like Scott Allen, like the big guy. I've never played with
from down under.
Yeah, I've never in my career played with a guy that blocks shots like he does.
For those of you who don't know, Scott Allen's 6'7", and not shy about it.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
And and like just when he's on, like there was one game, I can't remember who we were playing, but it was a couple weeks ago. I think it might have been Briarcrest or Camrose or something. And they had like 4 penalties in the second, and I think Scotty killed like the whole 8 minutes or whatever it was in penalties, and he just stayed out there. And that guy probably made more saves on the PK than I did, so he makes my job easier. And then then you got guys like Rory and stuff that are always trying to get those breakaways, always like pushing up, pressuring them, and I love that, right? Because it just makes them panic, makes them make mistakes. Oh yeah, so definitely. Just makes my life way easier.
Yeah, it's they're so tenacious on the puck, and I think early in the year, I think the first goal Concordia scored in their first 4 games, 3 of them were shorthanded.
Yeah, I think Rory, like Davidson, I think he's got 4 goals this year, and I think 3 of them are shorthanded goals.
And none of them none of them are like freebie giveaways.
They're all pretty good goals. Like
I think between the legs.
Shorthanded? That was sweet. That was awesome.
That was probably the loudest I ever got on the mic.
Yeah, I got fired up about that one.
Were you like sitting to the right of me in the last game? Were you up there? Oh, okay. I didn't even know. I thought about going over there, but I was a little. The whole first period I was doing play-by-play. At the very end, our Taylor comes over and she goes, "Oh yeah, like that was nobody heard any of that."
Yeah.
I'm like,
that's not good.
Like I was sick, so I was talking to like literally nobody, and she's like, "Yep."
Oh yeah.
Sick. Thankfully, they got a mic for the second one, but then of course 4 goals in the first period, and then there was kind of just like that.
Yeah, that just kind of died off a little bit after that.
Yeah, so I felt
3 more goals after that.
So yeah, people aren't going to get to hear my amazing play calling.
Yeah.
Let's get into some more meat and potato stuff here. We talked about the coach. So one thing, because I'm a huge hockey nerd. I'm a huge hockey fan. I never played hockey, but I was always drawn to it. Just because I grew up in Edmonton. Yeah. I'm sure your family was the same. Why did you I'm sure your parents, when you were really young, just put you into it. Yeah. First off, like, was there something immediately about the game that you're like, oh yeah, this forever?
Yeah. Honestly, it was kind of just I started playing hockey so young. Like my dad was he liked to play hockey, but he never played really high level hockey. He just kind of played it for fun and with his friends, and he loves hockey, right? He loves sports. And then he just kind of put me in it super young. And even my mom comes from a hockey family. Like my grandpa on her side I think he's had season tickets for the Flames for the last like 25 years out in down in Calgary, right? So he's a huge hockey fan. He's a huge supporter of my hockey career as well. And I think I first started learning how to skate when I was like 2 years old, and then just kind of from there is just kind of everything I knew. Like that's all I did, right? In the winter was just play hockey constantly, and then I tried to do like other sports as well. Like my dad would try to put other sports onto me. It was just, I played it from such a young age. And then I just that's where I met all my friends kind of growing up. And then it just kind of all tied together, and it just kind of kept going. And my biggest thing was kind of when I got a little bit older and I was still playing hockey, I wanted to get like school paid for. That was my biggest thing. Goal? Yes. Yeah. Right. So, it ended up working out for me in the end, and I'm super happy it did. So, that was really the biggest thing for me. I just didn't want to have to ask my parents to help me out with school and stuff. Just wanted to
get those $30,000 debts.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to do it myself, and it ended up for the best. So
yeah, dude, that's so lucky. Well, not lucky. I mean, it takes an incredible amount of of dedication and stuff. I guess that's a good question. How much of your talent do you say is just like that's just from God? I have no idea. And how much of it is like, no, I worked really, really hard on that rebound control.
Yeah, I think it's. That question is tough just because being a goalie just kind of sucks sometimes in general. Just the position, like it's the best position in sports and it's the worst position in sports.
You're
right?
On an island, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like all the spotlight's on you. Like if you mess up, everybody sees it, and like versus if you're a player and you mess up, you could kind of just like float to the bench and maybe go under the radar, right? But as a goalie, like everybody sees it and stuff. So I'd say like growing up, I wanted to be a player initially, and I wanted to be a centerman actually.
Yeah, number 19.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
And I actually just wasn't very good at player. Like I was pretty average, like same as everybody else. But then in novice, we kind of we would alternate who plays goalie. Like we had a equipment, like set of goalie equipment, and then
okay.
every game we'd alternate who plays goalie, and I would play it and I'd do really well and I really liked it, and then so I'd keep doing it more often than not. When guys didn't want to, I would be like, yeah, oh okay, I'll play goalie, and then ended up just kind of doing that. And then I definitely I'd say a lot of my kind of skill is from God, like it's God-given talent, and like some of it you can't teach, it's just natural instinct. But definitely in the summers, like work really hard. Like I've had a lot of really good goalie coaches throughout the years, and they've helped me kind of become who I am today. So I'd say most of it is definitely God-given, but there's definitely, I definitely have worked quite hard to kind of get where I am as well.
That's a good balance to have. Yeah, you kind of have to see it from both ends.
Yeah,
you kind of have to see that. Otherwise, you're gonna end up being like, who are you? You're gonna be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming you probably never did. You seem like a quiet, composed type when you're on the ice. Have you ever gotten into it with anybody? You had to vocalize, a little block or shiver to the face or something?
Yeah, I'm not huge into kind of getting involved. Like guys will say, like when I'm on the ice, I kind of almost get tunnel visioned, and I just all I see is like the plays around me and what's going on, and like half the time, like guys have told me after the games, like my teammates will come talk to me like during the game, and I just like won't hear them. Like literally they'll be talking to me and I won't hear them, and I won't say anything, and they'll be like, "Oh, what the heck? Like, are you mad at me?" I'm like, "No, I just didn't hear you." Yeah, I was just like super dialed into it, sort of thing. And like I'd say there's a couple times in junior for sure where a guy would take a liberty on a teammate or something, nobody would do anything about it, so I would step in just because like I don't like that kind of stuff. And even like kind of this year at the start of the year in exhibitions when we were playing Nate in Nate's rink, I got into it with a guy a little bit because I didn't like him. He was he was in the crease, and he was like just kind of annoying me all game, and I just was done with it, so I kind of gave him a couple blockers. But other than that, I try to keep my composure for the most part.
And so I get another, because we kind of touched on it a little bit, but of something, being a crazy hockey fan, I've been watching it my whole life, and I've always wondered, like, why did these guys decide to play goalie? Like, were they just shoved into it at a young age? And like, you kind of said you were like a little bit just sort of where the opportunity was there in novice. And what age is novice too?
I think it's 7 to 8.
7 to 8.
7 to
so
8,
like,
yeah.
Definitely like a decent age to start playing goal. Is there anybody that was like a goalie from 6 and that was it? Like, is that like happen, or is it not really like that?
Usually guys kind of step into being a goalie a little bit older. Like usually it's in like Adam, like 9 or 10 years old, just because that's when there's like on teams in Calgary, at least for minor hockey, that's when you have like set goalies. So like you'll have goalie tryouts, and then you'll have 2 goalies per team, and they'll be goalies, right? Okay. So I was like, I got into it early, and I just like had a natural kind of feel for it, sort of thing. Versus like you could ask players right now, like anybody, you'll be like, hey, you want to play goalie? It's like, no, like no, nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to get hit with pucks, right? So you kind of have to have like the feel for it. But yeah, no, I'd say usually for the most part, guys get into it around kind of 9, 10 years old, and I just got into it in novice and just ended up being okay at it.
Yeah. So. Well, did you have like a Goldberg moment, like from the Mighty Ducks? I don't know if you remember that, where they just started shooting pucks at them. Did you have a moment where you're like, oh, this is doable. This isn't scary. Or was there ever fear, trepidation at that young age?
Honestly, no. Like,
I guess they're not shooting that hard.
Yeah, right. Like even now, like it's just, I find like all guys are always like, oh, that's like, it would suck being a goalie getting hit in the head with pucks, but it's like, you pay all this money for all this equipment, and you got it for a reason, right? So it's it doesn't generally hurt to get hit. So it's kind of something that you just develop over time. You're just not scared to get hit with pucks, and you see like a lot of younger kids usually are, because they
natural instinct.
Yeah, they don't want to get hit with a puck, but like as you get older and as you like get hit in the head more times, or hit in the shoulders or the collarbones, you just kind of get used to it over time. So it's kind of fear is just no factor really for me anymore.
That makes sense. You can't have that fear.
I
guess that's why Bombay did that to
exactly.
You had to get rid of that fear.
Yeah, it might have been a good technique if you look back at it.
So I want to talk about superstitions.
Okay.
Something tells me you're extremely superstitious.
I am extremely superstitious.
When did I have to be the first on the ice and last off the ice? When was that?
That started when I was 15.
15.
Yeah.
So was there just one game you crushed it and you were first on?
Pretty much. Yeah. So I always had a thing, like my dad always told me to, like, you got to be the hardest worker on the ice every day. So he's always saying, he's like, you got to be the first guy on the ice and you got to be the last guy off. Like every day, right? Like he was always harping on that, and he put a good kind of work ethic. Like he did a really good job teaching me like what real work ethic is, and just showing me himself too. But then, yeah, like I'm the kind of guy, like if I do something one day and it works out or I play really well, I'm doing that every game for the rest of my life, right? Like, I've had like the same kind of like superstition base, like for what I do on game days and stuff, like since I was 15, 16, and then I've just added things to it, but it's kind of like the same for the most part. But yeah, I remember one game and I was just ended up being the last guy off the ice in warm-ups because we were running late or something and guys were getting off early. And so I got off last and I went out and I put up, I think it was like a 42 save shutout or something.
Way to go.
And then I was super happy about that. So then I just kept doing it after that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's usually how most of those things start.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get to a couple crazy goalie superstitions in a moment. But there's one more I wanted to ask you about because I've mentioned it on the stream numerous times because I think it's interesting.
Yeah, that's just.
And then you line up. Is that that's the way you reset?
Yeah, that's just kind of like I was always when I was younger, I was always stressing out about being in the middle of my net, and just because I was I was taught like from a young age from my goalie coaches. That angles like on the ice and in the crease are a huge part of being a goalie, and they are.
Yeah,
it really is. And like if you watch like NHL goalies, like their angles are just completely perfect wherever the puck is on the ice, wherever they are. So that was one thing I found I was good at, and I was always stressing out that I was never in the middle of my net perfectly, so I would always be off angle. So I always check my post just to make sure I'm in the middle, and then now it just kind of happens naturally, and it's just a habit. Like I do it in practice all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't even mean to do it. I'm not even thinking about it. So yeah, that just kind of started because of stress, I guess you could say.
That
just
makes sense.
Being worried about not being square to the puck. So
I just call it the Bowerman shuffle.
Yeah.
So what else do you do that's weird superstitious? What else do you do?
Oh, that's a long list.
You really got a long list. So what is the skeletal pregame routine that you were talking? Because I noticed on the ice you do the same thing every time.
Yeah. On the ice.
That's not super uncommon for goalies.
Yeah, and like everybody's got kind of like little things they do, but I got a lot like.
You got a lot of little things.
Yeah, in like on ice warm ups and stuff, like I do the exact same thing in the exact same order every single time, and then same thing with off ice warm up, like doing the exact same thing, and then honestly, like it comes down like another thing I'm big on is I get dressed the exact same way every like game, like put on my equipment the exact same way.
Right first or left first?
Yeah, so I go right, left, and then left, right.
Oh, okay.
Like for the whole time, and then I do it based on like timing as well. Like I get dressed at specific times before the game. Yeah, and so stuff like that just kind of helps because I get super nervous before games and I get like very anxious. Yeah, and so kind of doing things like that helps me calm down a little bit and just kind of be in the zone and just not think about all the outside stuff. And then just like honestly, I've eaten the same thing for pregame. For God, like since my first year of junior, so last like 5 years, and then just like little things like that. Like I always watch like a sitcom on game days, just a couple episodes, just to like give me a couple laughs, kind of relax me a little bit. I do a lot of meditation, like cerebral stuff, and then it's just kind of it starts from when I wake up, and everything I do throughout the day just kind of helps me just be calm and just kind of slowly get ready for the game.
Yeah, that's cool to hear that you commit to it.
Oh yeah, it takes up like most of my day. Like
that's why I was so surprised because this was before you were hurt when we had set this up, and you had said like, oh, we can do it on Wednesday if you want in the morning out of classes, and I was like, bro, you play Nate Wednesday. I was like, what are you talking? I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Like I don't want to be the guy that psychs out the goalie on game day. He's thinking like, oh, maybe I should have answered that question differently. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that pressure. I don't want that pressure. So what's the most nervous you've ever been before a game? Was it like your first game at Concordia? Probably extra butterflies, I'm sure first game. Yeah. Camrose, some butterflies, but like was there a certain time?
I'd say, honestly, like probably neither. I'd say the most nervous I've ever been for a game probably would be when I got to go to Russia in junior.
Okay.
For I think it was the Junior A Championship or something. I can't remember.
Was that for the AJHL?
Yeah, it was like Team AJHL.
That's where you were playing with Savoy.
And Benning. Carter Gylander was another goalie on the team
he's
as well.
for the Red Wings now, I think.
Yeah. So I'd say that was probably the most nervous I got. We had 3 goalies, right? We had me, Gylander, and then Matty Davis, who's at Denver University right now.
Okay.
Both those guys are unreal goalies. Nothing but good things to say about them. And Matty was kind of like our starter in the tournament because he was a really good goalie and he deserved to be the starter. And I remember I got one game out of the 5 we played, and who was it against? I think it was against Switzerland or Sweden. And that was probably like the most nervous I've ever been, just because the whole atmosphere, like there was tons of fans, like I think we were playing in front of like 5,000-6,000 people, like in Russia.
Oh,
and
man.
It was like super intimidating. We got to play where the 2014 Sochi Olympics were played.
And you were in 19, 20?
Yeah, I was 19.
Yeah.
That year I was 19 for that tournament, and then I ended up getting a game against, I think it was Switzerland. And I was super nervous for that, just stressing out. And then I went out and I actually got a shutout.
Posted a shutout, man.
Yeah,
I got it right here.
Yeah, it was
I also
pretty
noticed
awesome.
that Carter didn't play a game.
Yeah, he ended up not playing a game, not getting a start, which I found a little weird.
Well, you got to start over him.
Yeah,
How did you sort of like pump your tires a bit at the time?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I was pretty happy about it. At the same time though, I felt bad for Carter, right, to go all that way and not get to kind of play in front of that kind of crowd and that atmosphere. It sucked for him, obviously, but he was still, like, that being said, he was one of the best teammates. Like, he was always in a good mood coming to the rink. He was always like even like when I got my start, he was always like tapping me on the pads and saying like, good game, man, like, good luck, like,
yeah, it's the way
like,
to
go out there and kill it, right? So he was nothing but a good guy and got nothing but respect for those two guys.
Yeah, well, who was the best player on that team?
Oh,
I got the list here. There's some studs.
Yeah,
there were some studs.
In my personal opinion, I'd probably say Alex Young was the best player on that team.
Yeah.
I think he went forward to the tournament or something.
Well, he had 4 goals. Him and Max, won't even try to say his last.
John Milano,
yeah, that guy. Yeah, they both had 4 goals that tournament, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Alex was, because I think Alex got drafted by San Jose.
He did get drafted by San Jose.
Yeah,
there's 4 NHL draft picks on that team.
Yeah.
One who's draft pick for your Edmonton Oilers. Everybody.
Who's that? Savoy? Yeah.
Yeah, I know Savoy from my NHL 21 career sim days.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I was like, oh, this guy might turn out to be something.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I kind of thought that might be like a pretty big tournament.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was definitely like probably my favorite hockey moment. Probably one of the coolest things I've got to do with it.
What's it like having stats of your playing career from 2013?
2013.
Isn't that weird? Like, think of how old you were. 13 years old.
Yeah, like
you're
I was
playing
Bantam, right?
And elite, HCBAA. That's Bantam.
Yeah.
You posted a 410 goals against average.
Yeah.
With a 906 save percentage.
Yeah.
Which is like.
I got a lot of shots out here.
You're a busy guy.
Yeah, growing up kind of playing for the organization like the North Stars I played for, we weren't always the best team in the world, so I definitely had a lot of busy games, even kind of going all the way up to midget AAA. Like, we weren't anything special or weren't great, so definitely saw a lot of pucks kind of growing up in that association, but it was awesome. Like, I loved it. It made me better, like a better goalie. So
of course,
because of it versus like guys who were playing in the south of Calgary that were getting 15, 20 shots a game and letting in 1 goal. It's like,
well,
all right.
I think about this league right now, and I think like, well, you look at the numbers, and sure, Papirny has maybe a little bit higher save percentage, but you look at the shots faced. And this guy's facing 25, 26 a game. What's it like? Like, Nate hasn't flinched, right? You know what I mean? Like,
they're solid.
It's actually kind of impressive. It is impressive. It's impressive to see. Is there like any amount, like, when you are facing a team like that, whether you play this Wednesday or the next Wednesday, is that something that like you just get really hyped for?
Yeah.
When it's a really good team?
Yeah, right. Because obviously Nate right now is the best team in the league. Obviously,
undefeated, man.
Yeah, they got the most points. I think they're like 8-0 or 10-0, whatever.
Haven't even lost in overtime.
Yeah, which is crazy. So.
But
honestly,
they haven't played you yet.
Yeah, they haven't played us yet.
And
we were supposed to play them, and then some COVID stuff happened, and we thought it was a little suspicious.
Oh, okay.
We think they could have played with the guys that they had, like, because I think they only had like 3 or 4 COVID cases. So,
but they were the best guys.
Yeah, and like I'm pretty sure Papirny was one of them, so they didn't want to play without him. And I think they were a little scared to play us because just seeing the success we've had this year, and they don't want to. They're nervous about it, but honestly, like, those are the kind of games that you want to play, like. Those are the ones, like, you'd rather play them than the last place team in the league. Right?
Yeah,
because
no
it's the best. Yeah, it's the best team in the league. You wanna go out there and you wanna beat the best because you wanna beat the best, right? So So those are my favorite games to play. Obviously, I think they're everybody's because they're just so high energy and there's so much kind of like tension on the ice. Like,
and from puck drop.
Yeah,
you feel it.
Right. Like you can just like it's just like the atmosphere of those games are just so electric and so much fun.
Yeah, you've had a few of the games against State obviously have that extra little boost, and the same against Red Deer because Red Deer always has a strong team. And against State, you had 50, I believe it was 57 save, double overtime. Yeah, that was when I learned ACAC has ties. I
had no idea. I was mad about it. Yeah, I was pretty mad about it because like even all the guys like we were saying like we're coming here, we're playing 70 minutes of hockey, like we're grinding and it just ends like that. Like we just get a tie out of it. Like not even a chance to play for an extra point. Like I wanted to win, right? Like
of course, yeah.
I remember like my dad was making fun of me because like after overtime I just stayed in my net because I was ready for the shootout.
You were ready to
and
go?
then the guys just started coming off the bench and like I'm like, what is going on? And they're like, oh, there's no shootout. I'm like, well, that's stupid. Like
Yeah,
what are we doing here then? Like we just played that for nothing, for 1 point. And so, like, yeah, I don't agree with that rule so much.
You'd
but
rather lose in a shootout than end in a tie?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, because then you know that, like, okay, they beat us, whatever.
But
like,
did
we were
they,
close.
though? Like, how do you feel about the shootout as a goalie?
I like shootouts. I like
Okay.
shootouts, yeah. Like, in junior, I went in a lot of them. I actually have a crazy shootout story playing in junior. But,
Nice.
yeah, no, like, I love them. Like, they're
We'll
just...
share your crazy shootout story.
Yeah,
man.
so it was my 17-year-old year in junior. So my first year in junior, I was a rookie, and
This is in Camrose.
this game we were playing. Yeah, I was playing for Camrose,
playing
but
for Camrose.
yeah, but we were in Drumheller.
Okay.
And that year they were really good. Like they had a bunch of D1 commits and stuff, and they were a good team. And we were pretty good too. And we went to Drum, and my goalie partner Luke Lush at the time, he's actually a Sherwood Park guy.
Oh, nice.
He got the start and he played, and whatever game went on, it was tied 2-2, went into overtime 2-2, and then kind of like halfway through overtime, my coach kind of looks at me, Boris, and he like looks at me. I'm on the bench, and he's like, "Hey, if this goes to a shootout, you're going in."
Oh,
and I'm
boy.
like, "No way!"
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's-
"No way, Boris!" Like, I thought he was joking at first. Like, I didn't believe him really, and then goes to a shootout, and next thing I know, I'm in the net. Lush is skating out, and
What did Lush do? Like, what?
he didn't care,
was
honestly.
like,
yeah,
"Thank
he
goodness."
said he was
work
just
is
like,
done.
"Man, like as long as you like play good, I don't care. Like it's fine." He still got the win for it and everything.
Yeah,
so,
you're just
but
asterisk.
Yeah, and so I went into the shootout cold, and then it actually ended up being the longest shootout I've ever been in, and I think
Wow.
it went 9 rounds.
Oh,
and
boy.
I think I got scored on once, and then we scored 2 goals, and rest is history.
That's
We won
awesome.
the shootout, so that was pretty cool. That was one of the most stressed out times in hockey I've been. My legs were shaking for like the first 4 shots, and
Well, yeah, your
I was
first,
yeah
your first
so
touch of
nervous,
breakaway.
but it was good. It was fun, and thank God we won that game because it would have looked bad on me if we
Well, it
didn't.
would have looked. I think it would have looked bad on your coach more than it
Yeah,
looked bad on you.
yeah.
That's quite a swing to take as a
Yeah,
coach.
yeah.
Like you think about those coaching moments like that. Like I'm a big baseball guy. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you're into baseball, but there's like a lot of moments like that where the coach has to decide like, do I take this pitcher out? Do I bring? And
Yeah.
it's like no matter what. Like if they succeed, the player did their job.
Yeah.
If you fail, the coach failed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that's a
exactly.
lot of pressure on that
Yeah.
coach. So I mean, good for him for doing that. I want to play a little game here.
All right.
This is called Good to Go or Heck No.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you about goalie superstitions. First off, are you a post talker?
A post talker?
Yeah.
After the game. When
After
game's
the
over,
game, you
yeah.
say thanks?
Yeah, I'll like I'll look at him and be like, "Thanks, guys, appreciate it. It's a good game today." And yeah, not so much during the game. Like I know like there's a lot of guys in the NHL like Fleury and stuff.
Fleury has
yeah.
conversations
Yeah,
with them.
yeah.
He'll lean down, he'll wish him a happy
Yeah,
birthday.
exactly,
and shit.
right? Like I'm not to that extent, but after the game, I'll give him a little tap and just say,
Okay.
thanks.
So we know this. I just wanted to get that out of the way because that's an extremely common one. So I'm just going to talk about some weird superstitions. You
Okay.
let me know if you think like, oh yeah, that makes sense, or if you're
Yeah.
like, why are you doing that? That is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Okay. So Hendrik Lundqvist, I don't know if you know about this, but he would tap his
Yeah.
stick. You know about this?
Yeah,
Okay, he
oh,
would
yeah.
tap his stick. For those of you who don't know, he would tap his stick on the wall or whatever, on the tunnel, once for each period.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
once it went to triple overtime,
Yeah.
and he tapped it
Yeah,
6
in
times.
the playoffs. I
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that,
Is that good to go? Or are you like?
yeah. Oh yeah. Like
You respect that?
yeah. Oh, big time. Because I was in kind of warm ups. I always I tap my stick 3 times when I'm stretching at center ice, just for me
Okay.
to like play 3 good periods, and that's
Okay.
kind of why I do it. So and Lundqvist is actually he's my favorite goalie of all time. Like,
Oh, there we go. I'm
yeah,
glad I brought him up first.
Yeah,
Then.
I love him, and I love his game and how he plays because nobody else can play like him. It's incredible what he did. But yeah, no, I love that. Like whatever he's got to do to play as good as he can, like by all means.
Exactly. Hey, that's whatever works for you. This one's interesting. Hopefully you don't know about all of these. But this one you might relate to because you said you have a timing mechanism.
Yeah.
So this is retired goalie Jocelyn Thibault. He used to pour water over his head
Yeah.
to wet his head at precisely 6.5 minutes before the game began.
Yeah.
You can. That's
I
good
like
to go.
that. Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, because I do a similar thing, right? Like I get dressed the exact same way every time, but yeah, like I'll like sit in my stall until like exactly like a minute and a half before the game, before I like
Okay.
put my helmet and my gloves on to get going out there. So yeah, I can relate to that one for sure.
Do you guys like come? Are you like don't talk to me before the game? You're in your zone, or do guys come and say like, hey, way to go?
Yeah, I kind of just I'm pretty quiet in the dressing room before the game. Like I like to just kind of focus and just like get real dialed in. And guys like are a little bit more mature, and like not everybody's kind of like talking and like kind of chatting around during the games. Like it's more so after warm up where guys are kind of taking it seriously. So yeah, but guys know they just kind of like let me do my thing, and
That's cool.
Yeah, it's been working so far. So
has it always been like that, or has there been some point, like maybe in when you're playing in Camrose or even on this team, if you can respectfully call one of your teammates out, where you sometimes are like, shut up?
Yeah, especially like in junior hockey, because like when you get older, like in the league, like you get a lot more respect, right? And then being 19, 20 in that league, like because my 20-year-old year, we only had 2 other 20-year-olds, and they both had season-ending injuries that year, like early on. So I was the only 20-year-old, which kind of sucked, but I had to be like a big voice on that team, right? So there's kind of the balance of being focused and then like letting a guy know when you got to let him know, right? So little kind of like, I don't like to be that guy, and I don't want to be that guy, but it's like, it's as long as the guys don't take it personally and they know you're just doing it for like the success of the team and for like to have a success in the game, like then it usually goes okay. And that was good. Like about my last year in junior, we had a really good group of guys and they had a lot of respect for me. So when I said something, they listened, and it was awesome to like see. And like we were good that year too. Like we had success. So yeah, it was just definitely a little bit of both. Not so much now, just because being a first year and I don't have as much kind of say on the team, right? Like I kind of let the older guys.
But hey, I mean, you put up the performances that you do early on. Then do you sort of feel like, okay, maybe I can, like you're a part of this team. You're a reason that they are successful now. Whereas before, if you feel like I'm not a reason not as big of a reason we're successful, you'd be a little more tentative. So is that something that, like, in your situation now, being like a rookie on the team, would you like go over to Matt and be like, hey, Matt, this guy's kind of like, maybe we can do something? Is that a conversation you have then?
Not so much that sort of thing. Like if something's going on with another guy.
Sorry, Matt's the captain of the team. I should say that too. I talk a bit like because we know the team.
I'd say more so like if something's going on with a guy, I'll just deal with it personally.
Okay,
like,
cool.
I'll just kind of go up to him and like hash it out, and whatever happens.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, like I don't know. I don't like to get everybody involved. Like there's just no need for it sometimes. But like Matt's one of the best captains I've had. Like he's really good at reading the room, knowing what's going on. Like he was texting me the other day, like how I'm feeling, and he's just like a really good guy. Like nice. I love Matt, I love Tyler, I love all the older guys. Like they're great guys. So honestly, like they've created a really good culture for us as well, a good environment. So if you are having issues with a guy, like you just say it straight up, and you just like be honest with the guy and don't beat around the bush. Don't go talk to other guys about it, sort of thing.
Yeah, that seems like the way to do it. And I've always wondered why, like when you hang out with Tyler and Matt, do you sort of like understand like, oh yeah, Matt's the C, Tyler's the A? Do they sort of fall into that personality of like outspokenness, or like what do you see why Matt's the captain and Tyler's not the captain?
They're both, like, honestly, they could both be our captain.
Yeah,
like
I'm sure. Yeah,
I'm surprised they're not co-captains, but
you can do that, and you can.
I've had it before. Like in junior, we used to do that a lot. Like actually, the Welke brothers on State, they were co-captains their last year of junior on Camrose. So. I've seen it before, but I think Matt's just really the only difference is Matt's just a little bit more kind of talkative in the room, and he's kind of like he's a little bit more of a presence versus Tyler's a little bit quieter, I'd say. So
more lead by now.
Yeah, sort of thing, right? So I'd say that's really the only difference, but they could both easily be great captains for us.
Yeah, and you guys got like 4 assistants, I think.
Yeah,
around.
We got a big leadership group, right? Like I don't think everybody has an A in the group, but for the most part, like I think there's like 6 guys in it or so. Like I think like Wally, Scotty, I don't think they have A's, but they're both like in the leadership group. And then obviously like the A's, like Rory usually kind of steps into those too, just because he's older and he's got a lot of experience. And then and then Charlie and Peck as well. And like we got a lot of guys, Tyler and then Matt, right? Yeah. And like just the group, like they're a great group of guys, and like they're great leaders, and they've done a really good job helping the young guys and stuff, like myself and all the other rookies. So. Yeah, like Matt's an awesome captain.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't want to get too sidetracked from this, but I'm just going to. Anyway.
Yeah.
When you because this is casual. We don't have an agenda.
Yeah.
When you get taken out of the game, and then backup Vischer comes in, Sam Vischer, the backup, and he just like shuts the door.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that game. That game you guys won in overtime.
Yeah.
But the next game. Goes to double overtime, and he gets a penalty shot.
Yeah.
What like did you watch that game?
Yeah, so that
as a goalie, when you see that, are you more nervous watching or being there? Because that's like you can't think of higher stakes.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Penalty shot in double overtime.
Yeah, right. So I watched a little bit of that game. That was like kind of
it was the next day.
Yeah,
so
I was a little foggy still, so I tried to watch a little bit. I watched like most of the third period and then overtime, and so I saw the penalty shot. And yeah, I don't know what it was. I remember Sam getting in. Like Sam always plays. We have like a little game on Thursdays called Juice Boy, and it's just like pretty much a breakaway challenge. And if you score, or if whoever scores last, or whoever's like the last guy in has to buy like juice or something then for all the boys the next week, and like iced tea or pop or whatever it is. And Sammy always plays it, and he like sees hundreds of breakaways, and so like I don't know, I felt super confident, and I was like, honestly, man, like I think he's gonna save this, and Sammy's a great goalie, like Sammy's the best, yeah, and he played unreal that game, and even like what was it a couple days ago against Sate in Edmonton here, he played lights out,
that was a
and he ended up saving it, so. Honestly, I kind of knew how he felt, so I wasn't really nervous for him. I just kind of like had a hunch that like he was gonna save it, and we were gonna be okay. So, like I got nothing but confidence in Sammy. Like I love that guy, and he's an awesome goalie partner to have.
Yeah, I was so bummed I didn't get to see that when I heard it was a penalty shot in double overtime. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, he made a good save though. It was a good save.
Yeah, so. I heard it wasn't not like he didn't Brad Marchand it. Like it was a real shootout attempt.
Oh yeah,
which is awesome. Back to this because there's a couple more. These are some weird. There's some weird ones here. Glenn Hall. I'm sure you've heard of Glenn Hall. He used to vomit before every single. game.
I could see that. Like I've never been to that point, but like. There's been times where like I get so nervous that like you feel like almost nauseous.
Yeah.
So I could see like I've never had to do it, but I could see like goalies that have had to do that. Like it makes sense to me. I think there's a couple. I know a guy Clint Malarchuk. I'm reading his book right now, and he used to do similar things. Like some games he would get so nervous and he would just go and throw up, and he'd feel like $1 million, and he'd go out and play unreal, right? So no, I like that one. I think.
Well, is that something like because for Glenn Hall he had said that he's like, well, he did it his first game, and he played well,
So
it became like, are you the kind of guy that if you threw up in your first game, would you fall into that?
I don't think I could fall into it just because I just hate throwing up.
Well,
I hate it.
It's got to be doing damage to your esophagus.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I don't know if I could keep that one going, but you never know. Maybe if it was in the playoffs or something and whatever we were winning, then maybe I could just for the playoffs, but I don't think I could do it for a whole season. No.
Are you like a same jock strap all through the playoffs type guy?
Oh yeah, actually,
all through the season. Don't tell me all through the season.
Oh, it actually ripped this year, but I had the same jock strap I've had since I was 16, and it ripped this year in Camrose, my first game of the season.
Oh boy,
my very first regular season game, and it ripped, and I was so sad about it. I was absolutely crushed, but it is what it is. I guess it was just time to move on from it. But that thing was shredded. It looked like
yikes.
It was just so ripped up, and I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did.
Is there any other? I find that so weird that with so if you wear a cup. Like that for some reason that's like this has to stay the same.
Yeah.
Is there any other piece of clothing or equipment that you're like I'm never letting this go?
Not so much anything else. Like just because everything's so like you got to get new stuff all the time and everything always rips. I had the same thing with like a pair of like pants that with the pants I wear right now. They're pretty beat up and I just really like the way they feel. So I don't change them. But like. It was mostly just the jock that was just like I gotta keep this thing going.
It's a tradition. It's a tradition that's been going on forever now.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Patrick Waz.
I like him. Yeah.
He does some crazy stuff. So the first thing, good to go or heck no. Patrick Waugh never sweeps snow into his net. After you're a goalie, he's great. He never sweeps it into his net because he's superstitious about anything going into his net. Are you like that? Like a water bottle? Like snow. It seems too far to me.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop the snow.
I'm like that to I'm like that to an extent actually. Like in practice, like I hate when there's a puck in my net. Like it could just be one single puck, and I'll take it out before I like take the next shot, just because I hate it. Like it just puts in the back of my head that like there's pucks, like that means I'm getting scored on if there's pucks in my net. So I never like to have pucks in my net at all. Not so much in games. In games I don't really think about it that much, just because I got more stuff to worry about. But like I mean. I could see why he does it. So I like that one.
Yeah.
I never knew that one actually. That one's interesting.
Nice.
But-
Okay, I'm glad I got one that you didn't know, because you're a hockey nerd too then.
A little bit,
Especially
yeah.
a goalie nerd. You're reading books.
I read a lot of books about goalies and stuff, and I find it like super interesting, just like the older goalies and how they were brought up, and
Oh my
how
goodness.
different like the league was back then versus now, and like training styles and stuff. So
It's a different position.
Yeah,
Really.
it's
so different now.
Yeah.
Thanks to Patrick Wall.
yeah,
Really.
yeah.
When you look back at those old footages, will you think like, well, if I was brought up in the 50s, there's no way I'd want to be a
Oh,
goalie?
no shot. There is no shot. Like those guys that are going out there not wearing helmets, taking like 100-mile-an-hour slap shots. It's like, oh my gosh, like you just got to catch it before it hits your head. It's like I don't want to do that. No way.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah, I
that's
couldn't have done
terrifying.
it back then. Those guys were real. Like, yeah, they were a different kind of crazy. Those guys.
And then you think about like Jacques Plante being like criticized, like, oh, he wearing a mask.
Yeah, it's like, come on, what
on,
do you
that's
do?
for practice.
Yeah,
not in a
exactly.
game. It's like, what kind of like, man.
Yeah.
The guy he's literally, his face is falling off of
Yeah,
his face.
yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna be wearing a mask. from
Yeah.
here on out. So Patrick Wall, we're not done with him because this guy's actually insane. He does the craziest stuff. I wanted to bring this up because you said we could do a game day interview. He refused them.
Oh yeah,
Patrick Wall
that doesn't surprise me.
would never do an interview, at least before the game. After
Yeah,
the game,
yeah.
I'm sure he'd tell off all the reporters.
Yeah,
for whatever.
that
but-
doesn't surprise me actually. Like, I know like there's a lot of goalies in the NHL that don't like doing it. That's why you kind of never see goalies in the intermission interviews
Oh,
or
of
like right
course.
before that. You never see
never.
it. Never see it, right? Because I know there's a lot of guys doing it. I'm kind of like I would be similar. Like if I was at the rink, like I wouldn't want to do it at all. Like I would if I as soon as I get to the rink, like
I see. Yeah.
like I turn my phone off. I don't go on my phone at all. Like I just kind of like be there and just get ready for the game. And I don't like to talk to anybody. Like in Russia, they asked me to do one before the game, but I said no, I'll do it after like the game I got to play. So
of course, yeah, you're one shot.
yeah, and they wanted to interview me before, but I said no, like I'll do it after, and I did it after with them and stuff. So I'm just like during the day I try to not get too serious because I spend so much time at the rink, so serious and so dialed in, right? Like for games. So I try to keep it light, and like that's kind of why I watch sitcoms and stuff, just to get a laugh or whatever, and try to go do something else, like get out of my house, do something. And then when it kind of comes down to it and I have to go to the rink, then it's like time to like, okay, like let's kind of get dialed in a little bit
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So what sitcoms are you like? What's your go-to then?
My go-to would be Friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Friends. I've seen it 100 times. Like I love that show. And then I watch them all. Like I watch How I Met Your Mother. Same. I'd say Brooklyn Nine-Nine's a good one. I like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah. And then I kind of like rotate those three throughout game days and just see whichever one I'm feeling that day. It's just
awesome.
kind of like, I'll throw a couple episodes of this on.
You don't have the pump up song. You have the pump up. Your pump up song is "I'll be there
yeah,
for you."
seriously, yeah,
Nice,
it gets me
that's great.
fired up. So I love it. I
Dude,
love
we
it.
should play that on the PA. when we
Yeah,
come out.
seriously.
So we'll play some Friends.
Yeah.
Now I have the insider. Have you ever had a weird? What's your nickname? Just called Bowers, Bowie.
Everybody just calls me Griff, honestly.
Griff?
Like,
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, why not?
everybody just calls me Griff. Like,
Yeah.
that's just kind of been my nickname.
Well,
for
and
a
it's
while.
I mean, I should say this. It's one of the best hockey names I've ever heard.
Griff.
Griffin Bowerman.
Oh yeah,
Because it's not on the nose. Like when you see a kid with the last name Bauer, you're like,
Yeah.
well, that's too on the nose.
Yeah.
But Bauer, it's not spelled the same as the hockey game.
Yeah.
So it's its own thing. You're Bowerman.
yeah,
And you're again Griffin. I mean,
yeah.
come on.
Griffin's just a crazy
Griffin's
name.
a
It's just-
clutch name. Your
yeah, it's
parents
just-
came through.
Yeah. My mom named me, and it's just like it was just so outrageous. But like I love my name. It's awesome.
No, it's
so.
a great name. It's a great hockey name. I love good hockey names.
Yeah. Like my favorite hockey name, I think, is like my old goalie partner, Luke Lush. I think that
Luke
just,
Lush.
it just rolls off the
Alliterations.
tongue.
You
Yeah,
love
it's good.
alliterations.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I like when I can get some good nicknames in there. There's a guy on our volleyball team whose name is James Bryce, but he has really long hair.
Yeah.
So we call him Jungle James.
Nice.
which
Yeah,
is
that's
an-
yeah.
I love those alliterations.
I love nicknames. Yeah, like so do all the hockey guys. Like we all just love a good nickname.
Yeah, yeah. Most of the time they're not extremely creative, but every now and then you get somebody.
Yeah. Like I find more so in junior, they're like way more creative.
Oh,
and
okay.
guys
Yeah,
are like
yeah. More time on your hands, maybe.
Yeah. Like guys in junior got some good nicknames and stuff. So
Is there one that stands out where you're like, I wish?
not really. Just like it's more so like when you kind of get to know the guy a little bit, and then you find something out about him, and then you start calling him that thing, and then it just kind of catches on, and everybody calls him that thing. So
I love
it's more so ones like that, not like even sometimes they're like not even related to their name. Like I know like I know a guy from Calgary who used to play at State, and his name was Cody Campbell, and everybody called him Soupy just because like Campbell Soup, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah.
stuff like that. Like
That's,
I love those things.
That's like Vlasic. They just call him Pickle.
Yeah, exactly,
like
right.
Things like that. Or like my all-time favorite, I think it's probably everyone's favorite hockey nickname is Danny Heatley All-Star.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the fact that like you can't say that without laughing.
Yeah,
at him,
it's
so
awesome.
It's so awesome. Okay, I have one more. This is the weirdest one. You know Simeon Varlamov.
Yeah.
He refuses to put his water bottle on his neck.
I'm the same way.
You don't do that.
Yeah,
okay, so when do you get it to? Because Simeon waits for the first whistle, and then he specifically needs his trainer to roll it out to him.
Yeah.
A player can't skate it to him.
Yeah.
What's your method of getting the bottle to you?
I don't drink water during the periods.
What?
I only drink it in intermission. Yeah. My big thing is like I told guys like on my team this year, and they were like they thought I was crazy, but like my biggest thing is like I don't ever want somebody to pop my water bottle when I get scored on top of the net, because I just think like having to skate to the corner and go pick it up would just be the most embarrassing thing, right? So I just don't even give them the opportunity. I just keep my water bottle in the dressing room, and I drink a ton of water in intermissions, but never during the period.
Well, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's I don't know why I do it.
Yeah,
just no,
coaches aren't
like
on you, like
not particularly. No, like just kind of 20 minutes. It's not terrible, so I just kind of go with it and just suck it up, and then just drink a ton in the intermission.
Just drink a ton in the intermissions, and you probably just be sweating buckets by the third.
Oh yeah. I sweat a ton during hockey for sure.
Yeah, I remember like Habby Boulin used to play for your Edmonton Oilers. I look at the camera every time. He used to change jerseys in intermissions.
Yeah,
he used to sweat through those jerseys.
I could see that. Yeah, it's some of those guys in the NHL are crazy. Like how much they sweat, like how much they would sweat, and especially back then when the goalie gear was like that much heavier.
Oh
my
goodness!
It would get wet from the ice, and then it would get heavier and heavier.
Yeah, you think of Luongo in particular. It's the one guy I think of where I'm just like, what? Like, I think they shortened pad sizes because of him, because he was like, what's the maximum size equipment I can wear? Let's wear that.
Yeah.
Why not? Right?
Yeah, it's like guys. Yeah, like the way goaltending has kind of evolved throughout the years is like guys back then it's just like let's just be as big as possible and take up as much net as possible. Now it's just more. Now it's more so like you got to be able to move and like how quick you are, and like you don't want your gear getting in the way of that sort of thing, right? Like, and that's kind of why I actually went to a smaller pad this year, just because of that, just so I can move a little bit better.
Interesting. I want to talk a little bit about your time outside of hockey, and like what does that look like going from like what were you doing in your downtime when you were in the AJ? Because you're 21 now, gonna be 22.
21 now, yeah.
So you were like university age per se when you graduated high school, playing in the AJ. Like what takes up your time there as you transition?
Not a lot.
It's
honestly.
just hockey.
It's like junior hockey is probably one of the coolest lifestyles. Like just because really like all you do is play hockey. Like that. Besides my first year, obviously when I was 17, I was in grade 12 in high school.
Yeah. So what do you still go to school?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So when I made Camrose, I transferred high schools to the high school in Camrose.
Oh, okay.
And then so I went to school there, did all my schooling there, and then when the season was over, I transferred back to my high school and got to graduate with all my friends from Calgary and stuff. So it worked out really good. And but yeah, like junior hockey is like the 3 years after that. It was really just like you wake up, you play hockey, and you go to bed and kind of do it all over again. And
wow.
Yeah, like it was so much fun. Like you just get to like hang out with the guys all the time. Like it's a little bit different here just because you have like school and like university is a little bit more demanding, and then guys are older and they got stuff going on in their own personal lives. Like we got like Rory's married, like he's right, like things like that. Like he's got to go home to his wife every night and stuff. So it's a little bit different in that way, but yeah, definitely like junior hockey is definitely one of the coolest lifestyles.
Yeah, that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. I think it's like the dream for a just people, obviously, to make the bigs. Yeah. But then to just have that be the only part of your day for an extended period of time is just amazing.
Yeah, and like you could do anything you wanted in junior. Like I know like for the first like 2 months usually of the season, like we would golf like every single day in Camrose. Wow. Yeah, and like we would like go to practice, then leave, go golfing, and then kind of do it all over the next day. And like you just had nothing you had to do really. Like it was just hockey and that was it. So
are you staying with billets at this time?
Like right now?
No,
or like in Camrose? Yeah. So
billets?
Yeah,
and I'm sure you are now too as well.
No, I'm actually I rent a house with Carrillo on our team and Gabe O'Dowachuk.
Okay.
Like 2 D-men. Yeah. So the 3 of us have a house together. And then we just rent. It's right by Commonwealth Stadium.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so it's not too far from the rink, not too far from the school. It's kind of a good spot to be in. But yeah, in junior, all 4 years I was with the Billet family, and that was awesome. I loved Billeting. Like, like my Billet family is like my second family now. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, they had 3 like little girls too, like kids, and like love those kids. Like they're like my little sisters to me now. So
Wicked.
yeah, so that was a super cool experience about like playing junior as well, as like getting to live with a different family, different kind of dynamic than what you're used to growing up and stuff. So that was awesome for me personally.
Well, yeah, and so much like growing up, it must have happened there.
Yeah, for sure, right? Because I was 17, kind of moving away from home for the first time.
Yeah, that's too young for a lot of people.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Like it was awesome just to go kind of do something else, experience something else, and just kind of like see what was out there. So I loved every minute of it, and like still like to this day I'm in touch. I like keep in touch with my billets all the time.
That's
like,
so cool.
Yeah, like I went to Camrose earlier in the year just to go watch a game and then see my billets and stuff, see some of the guys that are still playing there that I know and stuff like that. So, and I'll probably end up going back to Camrose a couple more times before the season's over and before I go back home to Calgary. So, but yeah, no, I loved it. It was awesome.
And the minor hockey program in Calgary must have treated you very well. Like, there's been so many, like, it just, you would have played with some pretty great players all throughout your career there.
Yeah, just like even in training in the summer in Calgary, like we got a lot of really good kind of gyms and stuff that put on ice times with a lot of good hockey players. Like I know I've done a lot of skates with like Jordan Eberle and Mike Green and like guys like that, and then a bunch of AHL guys. And like when you do those, like your confidence can get pretty low sometimes just because
when you realize just how good
it's like you think, okay, like they're in the NHL, but I could do okay, and then you get out there and then it doesn't go your way most of the time, but you just realize like how like good that league is and how good you have to be to get into the NHL and the National League. And sometimes like it helps, right? Like just playing with the best helps you become better, even if you're getting lit up every day, but what it is. So I just like kind of growing up, I've always done that sort of thing in the summers, and that's helped me a lot throughout kind of my career and everything.
Who's the biggest name that's ever put one by you in your when you look back now and you go, I can't believe that guy scored on me when I was a kid? Or
that's tough. I don't know. Like there's been a lot of guys like. I did a couple skates with like Cale Makar in the summer.
I was wondering because you had missed him because I was when I heard you were in the AJ, I was like, I wonder if he was
because I never got to play against him. Unfortunately.
1 year.
Yeah, I missed him by 1 year. I wish I would have. But
really, that's not a lot of goalies would have said that.
Yeah, I wish I would have got to play against him like that. I think that would have been unreal just to get to see him play and watch what he can do and stuff. But no, that'd be tough. I don't know, like Dylan Holloway, he's good.
Okay.
He was a good player. Like. He pretty much he played for Okotoks, and he pretty much won Okotoks a playoff series against us by himself.
Yikes.
Like he was insane. Like he could just like at any time just get the puck and do whatever he wanted with it and just score, make somebody else score. Like the way he could make plays was like insane. Like I couldn't believe it. Even same with like Austin Wong. He was on Okotoks. He got drafted as well. Yeah, but I don't know. I'd probably like say like Holloway is up there for sure. Either like Holloway, Savoy, or Benning are 3 like the best players I've played with for sure or against.
Yeah, I would. Holloway too. I like, and Savoy. I like you mentioned in the Edmonton connections.
Yeah. Savoy that guy can shoot a puck like nobody else can. Like I was like in Russia, like him in practice, like the guy uses like a 65 flex or something.
Oh wow!
He can just wire it. Like it's crazy how fast he can shoot it. So.
Oh man, how is your so I'm wondering like where your vision is for yourself in the future, because like when you're coming up through the AJ, like are you dreaming big? Are you thinking like we're gonna get drafted one day, like we're gonna go to the NHL, we're gonna play in the club, or
the NHL thing is kind of like I think it's beyond me now. It's kind of unrealistic a little bit, just given my age and stuff. Like you never know, but
given a goalie, that's what I wanted to mention, because being a goalie is it's different. Like a good season, and people are looking. People are looking.
No, like for me personally, like I've always like growing up, I always wanted to play college hockey, and then I kind of wanted to go over to Europe and play a couple years over there, just because my parents took me to Europe when I was super young, and I really liked it over there, and it was super cool, and I like love traveling, so I just kind of wanted to go over there and see what it was like, maybe if it was only for a couple years or whatever it was, just to experience like pro hockey over there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I think I want to finish school, finish my degree and everything, and get that all done, and then when that's over, like hopefully like there's an opportunity or something. Like I know Joey has a couple connections over there, and then so hopefully there's an opportunity in like like Germany would be like my dream spot,
Okay.
like playing the Dell or the Dell 2 or something like that. I would love that, and then just see what it's like and kind of go over there and live a different life, live in a different country, like change it up, like do something that's just completely kind of different than what I'm used to. So that's kind of, and that's how I've always been, like growing up, like from junior.
You
like,
never had these huge. You always sort of had a realistic. Vision
Yeah,
of
like
yourself.
I always just wanted to play hockey in Europe, like just play
Okay,
pro hockey
cool.
in Europe. Like that was the big thing for me. Like yeah, don't get me wrong. Like if an NHL team were to come up to me and offer me a contract for like 6 years, like $2 million a year, like yeah, I'd sign it for sure. But yeah, no, like I've always wanted to go kind of overseas and play over there.
That's cool, man. That's awesome. I was talking to Matt and Tyler's mom actually, and she was like, "Oh, I really hope that they go and play in Europe."
Yeah,
sometime. Like,
yeah.
I really think that'd be just a great experience. Like, and I'm like, yeah, like even just to have. I mean, like you talk about like being a professional. Like you're not a professional, but you are getting reimbursed for your talents per se. So there's a little bit of like, oh, sick, okay, like but to get a paycheck to play hockey.
Yeah, like that'd be the dream, right?
That's
like,
another.
Like you're not working, like you're just having fun, right? You're just enjoying yourself doing what you want, and you're getting paid to do it. So there's really no better job in the world than that.
So was there like a turning point in your thinking then, like when you started playing in the AJ, or like was there some point in the AJ where that vision changed, or you were always just play hockey and ride it out as long as I can?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I was just, my biggest thing was kind of get school paid for, and then
and that's it, like your whole life.
Yeah, like
that is that what Concordia, because I don't know the deets
yeah, like they're helping me out really well. Like it's pretty much like exactly what I want. So like I can't complain about it at all, and I kind of got what I wanted out of it. And then yeah, I don't know, like a lot of guys, like growing up, younger guys always wanted to play in the WHL and like go play like for the Hitmen in Calgary, obviously, or like whoever. And I was never like that. Like I never really wanted to play in the WHL. It just didn't really interest me. So like I got, like after my first year junior, I got I think like 4 dub camp invites, and I just like didn't respond to any of them. I just didn't want to go. Like
who invited you? Remember where the invites were from?
There's a couple BC teams. I know Kamloops invited me. Oh, who else? I think Everett did.
Kamloops sounds really nice.
Yeah, I want to say like Kelowna.
Oh, that's really nice
and
too.
And then there's one more. I can't remember the other one, but yeah, I just kind of like didn't reply. Just wasn't interested. I just kind of wanted to play junior A, and because I loved it, right? And I loved it that year, and it was a lot of fun for me. So I just wanted to play junior A, and then like get school paid for, and then after school, hopefully go over to Europe, right? It's kind of just been the same thing for me.
So what is your plan to just like stay with Concordia for the 5 years? Like, is there room if you were asked to move to a different school? Like, how does that sort of work with your visions?
It would just have to be the right opportunity, honestly. Like I like Concordia a lot and stuff, so I can see myself staying here for the next couple of years and being here. But yeah, like if like a different opportunity, like if a Division I school came along and was talking to me, like maybe like if the opportunity was there and it was a good kind of like
you won't want to be a backup.
Yeah, right. Like yeah, and honestly, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Like there's always, I find you can always get opportunities, and if you like, it depends what you do with those opportunities. Like in Russia, like I got one game and I ended up getting a shutout, right? So it's like little things like that. Like you might only get one game, but like it's gonna set up like your entire future, right? So it's just kind of how you take those opportunities that are given to you, and then it would have to be kind of like the right situation and the right offer, and have to talk to my parents about it. But yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't know kind of how to answer that really fully. Like I like Concordia so far, so
that's true. You've only been here for like this has been the longest 9-10 games of the season of all time.
I feel like I know guys in the AJ, like some of my buddies that are still playing there, and they're like, oh yeah, we've played like 56 games. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you started 10.
I'm just like, we've not even played 10. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, imagine that workload. I mean, yeah, because you think about guys like Sam, and you're like, he doesn't, like, most of the time you would get the backup in when the starter's tired. And it's like, Griff's not tired. He hasn't played in 3 weeks. Like, he's
exactly,
fine.
Right? Like it's crazy. Like I remember like in junior, my coach had a thing. It was like, his rule for goalies basically was if you won the game, you got to play the next one. So I was like, I loved it.
Run the streak.
I loved it. Right. So, and then like we got a new coach my 19-year-old year, and he was kind of like hard to get a read on, and you didn't really know who was starting. But like I ended up, I think my first year with my new coach, I ended up playing the most games. I think I played like 39 or something, or 40, just about. I'll tell you. I think it was something close to that. And
38 games.
38, yeah.
38 games, posted a 900 even save percentage.
Yeah,
Very good.
Not a great year.
Just 900.
Yes.
Hey, it's kind of crazy because you've even when you go all the way back to your like age 13 season in Bantam or whatever the heck, it's so funny that Elite Prospects has those numbers.
It's awesome.
No save percentage under 900.
Yeah, that's one thing. I've also never finished a season like my personal record. I've never finished below 500.
Never finished below 500. But also like you must like. You've had an incredible year this year. Like I'm just gonna.
Yeah, this year's been okay so far. Yeah, it's not too bad.
This year's been okay.
Yeah.
You have a 947 save percentage.
Yeah, I think.
And your goals against average was like. It's not high. It's not high.
1.16 or something, or 1.62.
160. You had it bang on.
Yeah.
So
you
look at the numbers.
Yeah. I've always been like a big stats guy, so I always get caught up into it. So yeah, I look at the numbers and I always see Paperny's name above mine, which kind of pisses me off a little bit, but that's all right.
Oh hey, it's okay. Don't worry. When I'm on the stream doing the play-by-play, I always make sure they know.
Yeah.
That I'm just like, well, yeah, I like Paperny might have a better goals against average, but look at that D-core and look at that.
Yeah. He's got a really good team in front of me, and so do I though.
Yeah, I got not knocking our guys.
Really good squad in front of me. Like those guys battle for me every night, so can't say much. And Paperny's a really good goalie. Like he won.
I'm sure
he won a WHL championship in Swift Current when he was playing there. So yeah,
you gotta be pretty.
Yeah, he got traded to Swift that year, I think, and then so like he's a good goalie, obviously, and stuff. And he had the opportunity to play pro in Europe as well, and a couple times. So he's a good goalie. Nothing against him. It's fun competing against him though, just because
that'll be fun.
He's probably one of the better goalies that I've kind of been in the league at the same time with.
Okay.
Like easily, so. It's fun, like just comparing myself to him and stuff, right? Like I want to be the best, obviously. So just when I see that, like it just kind of fuels me a little bit more, just to play a little bit better, make that extra save, sort of thing. So
well, yeah, you make that extra save a lot. I would say, especially like I wanted you to sort of talk about like a little bit more about like because you say you have the same preparation before games, and I'm guessing intermission is the same thing.
Yeah.
You do the same things. And then what about when you start to go into these weird overtime periods that maybe like the overtime works differently in the ACAC than it did in the AJ? How has that like messed with your rituals?
Honestly, like when it gets to overtime, I kind of like throw it all out the window, and I just do the things like kind of on the ice, like make sure I'm in the middle of my net and stuff like that.
Right,
like
left, right.
Yeah, and in overtime, like really the only thing that I think about and that's going through my head is just like don't get scored on. Like whatever you do, don't get scored on. Like do like anything possible like in your power to stop the puck. And just do not get scored on. So that's kind of like when it gets down to that, because that's when it really matters, right? Like one shot could change the game, right? End the game off one shot, and it happens so quick. So it's just all I think about is just don't get scored on. Just don't get scored on. Just make the next save. Make the next save. That's all you got to do.
I know you said exactly. I know you said you don't like being scored on even in warm up. If there's a puck in your net, you'll like fish it out.
Yeah.
Do you? I've always wondered this. When is there a part of the warm up where the players are just shooting at your glove and blocker?
Yeah.
There's
like the first 10 shots I take, or I do 5 shots to my blocker and then 5 shots to my glove from Tyler. Like,
and he just shoots at your blocker.
Yeah,
like he's not trying to score.
He basically just he puts it in an area, and it's just basically for me like get kind of tracking, get my eyes going early. Like I over exaggerate and like I watch the puck all the way in, all the way off. Like it'll go into the netting usually when it's on my blocker, and I'll watch it all the way up into the netting and then back, and I do 5 and 5, and then just kind of get my eyes going a little bit before I start taking a little bit harder shots. And he doesn't shoot it hard, right? He just kind of puts it into a good area for me. So and he does a really good job at that, and that's kind of how I've always been in warm up. Just get a couple under my belt quick, and then I don't actually like to take a lot of shots in warm up. Like when we do the half moon and stuff, I don't take any shots in the half moon. I kind of just stretch and do my own thing. And then like I don't like to make too many saves because I just want to save them for the game, sort of thing. Don't want to use them all up in warm up.
Hey, that's fair.
So I try not to take too many pucks in warm up, but I got to get some, just get going a little bit.
Get something, yeah. Has there been anything outside of like hockey warm ups that are like traditional hockey warm ups that have like that you would point out? It was like, wow, that really helped me. I didn't expect it to. Like I know goalies have a lot of weird little things they do. I know like that weird bouncy ball is really popular.
Yeah.
Has there been anything along that lines that you thought, wow, this actually has made a huge difference?
Honestly, like I never did anything like with like balls against the wall or anything like throwing balls around or juggling. I never really did much stuff like that growing up. No, one thing that I started doing, I think it was like my second year junior when I was 18, was like meditating before games, and I found that changed a lot in my game because it would help me kind of because I used to get so mad when I would get scored on, so frustrated, and then it would lead to more problems, and I get scored on again, and then I would just be like mad and angry in the net, and like I don't play good when I'm mad and upset, right? So like the meditating like before games and stuff, and like kind of every day throughout the week leading up to it, it just helps you like kind of calm down. And like when you get scored on, it's like, whatever, you get scored on, like it's one goal, who cares?
It happens lots.
Yeah, I'm not going to be perfect every night, right? So who cares? Like it's one goal, and then it kind of helps me to relax and just kind of reset and refocus on back onto the game instead of just kind of being angry about it, sort of thing. So
yeah,
I'd say that's helped my game kind of the most out of the things I've done throughout the years.
That's awesome. When did you start doing the meditating stuff? When did that become a part of your habits?
I think I did it a little bit when I was 17, kind of help with school actually for like just stress and finals and stuff.
Oh my, yeah,
in high school.
I mean, you're finishing high school.
Yeah,
and
that's like
the AJ.
Yeah, similar to like when playoffs were at the time and stuff. Goodness. So right, it was tough. And then I kind of did it then, and then I kind of just would always watch podcasts or like listen to podcasts about goalies and stuff and read goalie books and just see what other guys do and like whatever helps. And like I would just find like it just put me in a really good spot, and then I really started to take it seriously kind of when I was 18 in junior. So my second year, and yeah, it was awesome. Like after that, like just like the relaxation you get from it is just amazing, and the calmness. So yeah, I've been doing it for the last like 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. So
well, that's such a huge part of being a netminder is the mental side.
Yeah,
of it.
right, because you're standing down there all by yourself for 60 minutes, and it's a long game. So yeah, you definitely got to be sharp mentally.
How does your preparation change with like 3 weeks before games and stuff? Like I mean, I know you still had school going on for some of that, so it's not like you were just sitting around doing nothing. But it's like, that's got to take you out of your rhythm, or
not too much. Like just kind of pick up where I left off, sort of thing. Like just do the same thing, like come to the rink, and it's the same thing every time you come to the rink, right? Like you're there for a reason. You're there to win, and so yeah, like it. Taking time off it, as long as I have like a couple skates, like practices and stuff under my belt, then it doesn't affect much for me personally.
You always skate with the goalie gear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Always? Yeah. You're never on the ice without that gear on?
No, always in goalie gear. Yeah. Like in junior, we would have like skates like the day before a game, and it would just be like 20 minutes long, and you just go out, do a couple drills, and then after that, I would like go take off like my top stuff, and then I'd come back out with like a player stick and gloves and stuff, just mess around for a little bit. But other than that, I just always goalie gear for the most part.
How much this is completely off topic. I just totally thought about another cool question. Like when you're in a shootout, you said you like shootouts.
Yeah.
Is every shootout shot the same to you, or if you see a guy like he had a kind of a partial break against me and he tried do you think about those things, or is it just a clean slate every penalty shot shootout?
I'd say in junior it was a little bit different because I was there for so long, so I knew the guys a little bit better.
Yeah, and how big is your division in the AJ? Like
we had 8 teams, so we were South. We had 8 teams, and then North had 8 teams as well. Okay. So and like in the AJ, like you play. Oh, how does it work? I think you play every team in your division 6 times.
Wow.
So like we play every team in the South 6 times, then we play every team in the North twice. So like we play a lot of games, and so you see like, especially the South teams, you see a lot of guys at like a lot of times, right? So it was a little bit easier to know what a guy was doing in the AJ versus here. Like I haven't, like I've maybe got 1 breakaway or 2 breakaways this year and stuff. So it's been a little bit harder in that way. But honestly, it's like there's so many factors that come into play, like what angle they take when they're coming in, like how wide they go, like what their speed is, like where their eyes are looking, like so many different things. But like you for the most part, like you play every single one the same way. Like, so there's like some guys, like I know a little bit, like number 10, I think he is on Nate, like Jared Legion, who's got,
he's like destroying the league right now.
Yeah, he's got a ton of points, ton of goals. He's got one of the hardest shots I've seen. So like if he's gonna break away on me, he's shooting 100%. I know that. Like he's not gonna deke, he's gonna shoot just because he's got such a good shot and stuff like that, right? Versus like a guy maybe like Bryce Wasepchuk on Nate, like I take him to deke, and he was like, I played against him in the AJ, and he was a pretty good player, and he's got good hands, so I'd take him to deke. But you still always got to be ready for either, and kind of just be ready for everything, sort of thing in a shootout. But that's the best part about it, is the mystery. You never know what's gonna happen.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I guess that's true. I want to go back to the meditation part, because the mental side of being a goalie is like something that I think is really good for people to hear about. And I think that's awesome that you like read books and try and like educate yourself on like the psyche of a goalie. I was wondering, like, Was there a time where, like you had said, that it was really tough for you going through finals, and that's when you started to do the meditation? Was there a time before that where you sort of like had that wall of, I don't know if this is for me, this is just too stressful, this is just too, you put too much onus on yourself? Was there a moment?
Not so much, honestly. Like, it was more so, I actually, like, when I was younger, like 15, 16, I thought like meditation was the dumbest thing, and like I would always like look down on it and be like it doesn't work, like why would you ever do that? And then I remember like I would always kind of talk to like a therapist about stress, like in school and stuff, because I was always super stressed out in school, and she would always tell me to meditate, and I was like, no, like I'm not gonna meditate, like it's dumb, it doesn't work. And then she ended up one day, she sent me like a link to a video on YouTube. It was like a guided meditation. She's like, just do it for 10 minutes. Just humor me. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Fine. I'll do it for 10 minutes. And it like, I actually liked it. Like I kind of did it, and then kind of kept building on it, kind of learning more about it, like learning why to do it, like how to do it properly and sort of thing. So there wasn't really like a time where it was like, oh, this is too stressful. It was just more so like her just kind of making me do it sort of thing, like making me just try it. And I think like once people like kind of open up to the idea of it and allowing it to actually like help them, it makes a world of difference in my opinion. Like it can take away stress and just relax you like that, like
wow,
just from doing 10 minutes of it every day, right? So I loved it, and I will continue to do it for as long as I live, probably, just because it helps so much with anything, like everyday life and everything. Like no matter what you do, there's always going to be some aspect of stress in life that's going to come. Yeah, it's going to come into play, right? So if you can kind of find that inner calmness and that inner peace, like through meditation, it helps a ton.
That's all. Yeah. So young goalies, make sure you meditate. Yeah, that's the note.
A lot of mental work.
A lot of mental work. Yeah. Man, the mental game of hockey has always intrigued me. Do you have, like, are there certain goals that when you let in, you're just like, nah, all right, whatever, tip your cap?
Yeah.
Like a low deflection, you're like, all right, geez.
Yeah, there's, definitely, like, there's been a couple goals, like, I know in in the preseason this year, like, Rizzling on Nate, the D-man, he scored a pretty nice goal on me in Concordia. It was, like, I think it was the first game I played.
Oh, wow, okay.
My first exhibition game, and he was driving on the wall because he was a D-man, and he like ended up toe dragging our guy coming up the wall, and like he had like a little mini kind of breakaway from in there, and then he went short side on me, and it's like I just heard it go in. I was like, okay, yeah, that was a good goal. That was pretty sweet. But there's definitely there's like playing against like guys like Holloway and stuff and Savoy. Like
like what are you gonna do?
They would score they would score crazy goals, and they would score some pretty like, it's just like, wow, like like I didn't even know you could do that. But and then there's like the flip side of it too, right, where it's like you get scored on, like you let in a 5-hole goal from the point or something, and you're just like, oh, that sucks, like I should have saved that one or something,
the
right?
off the glove in the off the back, and you're like, what am I doing here?
There's definitely guys have definitely scored some pretty I don't know if you know a defenseman named Corson Kuhlmans.
No,
he's younger. He played for Brooks for 2 years when I was in the AJ, and he actually got drafted by I think Columbus in the NHL. And he was a good player, and he was a D-man. And I remember I was watching that draft, and the first highlight on his kind of draft tape was on me, and it was like a goal on me, and then the last highlight was on me again, and it was almost like the same goal, like low glove, both shots, and like they were both really good, and I was just like, you
made the highlight reel.
Yeah, he's an NHL draft pick, so like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's what it is. So some guys are just incredible at hockey, and they just got incredible skill, and they just beat you, and you're just like, all right, you know what, that's a good goal.
Yeah, hey, that's good. It's good that you have that side of it, because there would be some times where I've seen goalies get like really upset, and I'm like, bro, like there's nothing you could have done.
Yeah,
it was over.
There's no point. There's no point in getting kind of upset. Like it's only gonna like lead to bad mistakes kind of throughout the game.
Yeah, like you said you don't play good angry. You said you didn't play, so that's why you started that meditation and really helped. What sort of mistakes would you make when you would get heated, when you get that
You just
anger?
make like, you would just like overthink everything. Like for me personally, like I would overplay the puck, or like I would try to do way too much, and then I'd end up putting myself out of position, and then they'd like score easy goals, or like I'd be trying too hard to stop the puck. Like I know that sounds weird, like being a goalie, like for me personally, like you got to let the puck come to you, sort of thing. Like you can't attack the puck. You can't go to the puck. Like you got to just let it come to you. And then when you're angry and you're mad, you're fighting it more, and you're trying harder to make that next save. And it just kind of like all those things kind of combined just lead to mistakes and stupid mistakes. So like if you can just calm down and just kind of let the puck come to you, and just realize like like Alan York, he was a goalie coach in Camrose for me for 2 years or 3 years actually, and he would always say, man, like, you let in a goal, like, who cares? Like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, you get scored on again? Like,
Yeah.
It's just a goal. Like, it doesn't make or break you. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't define who you are as a goalie. Like, it's one goal. Like, who cares? Just move on. Like, get over it. And like, when he would tell me that, like, I would get so mad. I'd be like, dude, shut up. Like,
it's a goal.
Like, yeah,
my
I'm
job
like,
is to stop goals.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to get scored on Yorkie, but
yeah.
no. And then, like, kind of when I realized, like, you know what, like, he's not wrong. Like, it's just a goal. Like, whatever. It's not gonna kill me.
Well,
it
it's
is what it is.
like especially bad. Like when I was watching the last 2 games you guys played. Unfortunately, you didn't get to dress because you were hurt. But man, like the tale of 2 games against State there. Like, does that, like, have you probably had games like that before where you're you're like, okay, like, we're down for nothing, but I gotta make sure it's not 5-0.
Yeah.
You could come back, right? Like,
yeah. At that point, it's basically like you just, all I'm thinking about is I just gotta make the next save. Like, I gotta stop the next shot. That's all it is. And we actually played Brooks 1 year when I was 18, and we were down 5-1 going into the third, and we actually ended up winning 6-5.
Nice.
And it was one of the craziest
Let's
games.
go.
Yeah, it was one of the craziest games I've ever been a part of. And like, the biggest thing that I was going through my head, I was like, okay, you know what, just don't get scored on this period. Like, play one good period and you're good. One good period and you're good. And we, like, fortunately, like, a lot of the guys, like, we had a lot of good players on that hockey team that year, so they scored some pretty nice goals, and we came back and we won, and that was an awesome game. But yeah, it's like, you just, when you're kind of having a game like that, if you're fighting the puck a little bit or anything, you just gotta, like a goalie coach from a really young age told me, like, he's like, what's the most important shot in hockey? And I said,
the last
wrist
one.
shot,
No.
like slap shot, I don't know. He's like, the next one. He's like,
The
you get
next
scored
one, I
on,
like it.
it's the next one. It's like, as what you do after. It's like, and it applies both ways. Like, you go out and you make a crazy save, and it's like one of the best saves you've ever made. It's like, most important shot is the next one, right? Because if you make that save, then you get scored on, like,
nobody cares.
Yeah, cancels out almost, right? So yeah, and I've always kind of had that in the back of my head since I was taught it.
Yeah, it's like Billy Bean, man. He said, "Nobody cares if you lose the last game of the season.
Exactly,
Nobody
right.
cares." I love that. I love that line from him. Oh man, there are so many more things I had on my mind. I guess I did. I wanted to know more about changing from AJ to ACAC, and like, you were out of school for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's the like the personal side of it, going back to school and balancing, you know, this new workload, and also, like, what's like, being an athlete, do you take, like, really chill classes? You only got 3 classes a semester.
Yeah. For my first year, I kind of wanted to do that.
Are you just open studies, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just open studies.
Just for this year. Just because I know, like, in the past I haven't been great in school while I play hockey at the same time. Like, my grade 12 when I was playing junior, like, it's tough to manage both and kind of do both at the same time. But definitely, I think the extra 3 years, kind of from grade 12 to now and going into university and stuff, I think that kind of helped me mature a little bit more. Like, I think if I would have went to school right away, I think I would have just kind of given away money and not really done good in class and stuff, right? So I kind of had the chance to grow up a little bit, and it's different, like, going from just playing hockey and doing that all day every day to, like, now adding in classes and hockey as well. But
and you have classes, like, on game day.
Right? And so, like, honestly, I enjoy it just because, like, I'm more mature now. I'm a little bit older, and, like, I like what I'm taking in school, like, with psychology and stuff like that. So I enjoy my classes. Like, I enjoy going to them. I got no problem doing it and kind of working hard in them and stuff. So I'd say it's definitely, like, first semester, like, first, like, month was pretty hard to kind of get back into school and get back into that sort of thing, because I hadn't done it in 3 years. So
And you were in class then, right, for the beginner? Or was it online?
Yeah. I think there's 2 weeks in the first semester where we went online. And
okay.
I think it was just for people to get, like, double vaccinated or something like that, like, just give
who
them time.
knows?
But this semester we're all online right now until the end of February, as it
Really,
stands right
they
now.
stretched it.
Yeah.
And the no fans too. I thought that was like
that sucks.
That's really that takes the wind out of your sails, huh?
Well, it's just tough, like, because that's what it was in junior as well, like, my last year.
Yeah, because man, you've been
we had
playing.
no fans, and, like, it's hard to play, like, it's hard to get excited, like, it's just, like, dead, like, there's just nothing.
Yeah.
Like, even if there's, like, 50 people in the stands, like, at least there's somebody there, and, like, there's some noise, some different atmosphere.
When you make a save,
there,
somebody goes,
right.
Yeah.
Like, there's something there, but, like, playing with no fans, it's just, like, it's tough. It's, like, low energy games and stuff. Like, the only energy you're getting is like stuff you make for yourself, like the energy the team creates and like how excited guys get and stuff. So
Well, who's the biggest fan on the team? Who's the guy that gets everyone pumped?
Like, I don't even know. Like Sammy's good for that. Like,
Okay, that's good.
Sam's like, he's one of the best team guys I've seen. Like, just all he cares about is the team and stuff, right? But no, for the most part, like everybody's pretty good. Like Gabe O'Dowchuk, like one of my roommates, he's got lots of energy. He's a high energy guy, so I love that from him. And just kind of like Matt and Tyler get the boys going when they need to and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say there's one guy in particular. I'd say there's lots of guys that like we're always just trying to support each other and kind of get the best out of each other, right? So I'd say it's like more of a team effort than just like kind of one guy doing it. But yeah, Sammy's really good. I love Sammy
Well, that's good especially when you're not like playing every day. Well, I mean nobody was playing every day, but like you gotta feel like you're doing something. I remember when I was playing high school volleyball and I was on the senior team and I was riding the pine.
Yeah.
I wasn't much of an athlete, but I made the team. And yeah, like literally my job with the other three guys of my friends that we were just the cheerleaders. Yeah. And we actually loved that.
Yeah, and it's like if you buy into it and you do it like I would always do that like when I wasn't playing a game in junior and I was just on the bench, like I would love getting it. Oh yeah, all the time. Oh yeah, all the time. Like I would love getting into games. Like I thought it was so much fun. Like I didn't even care that I wasn't playing just because
no pressure.
Yeah, I was having a blast on the bench, like just like trying to do what I can to like fire the guys up and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. Like I enjoy doing it. Obviously like I like playing more, but it's still I had no problem doing that kind of through junior and stuff like that. So
yeah, you got to find ways to make that fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, you can't just sit there and feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah.
I was curious, like because like when you were coming up through the Calgary minor hockey and then to the AJ, like you were like in the highest league, right? Like for your age group, how much of your development, like the coaches and the people that were working with you, maybe when you were like 15, 16 years old, were they like focused? How much of it was focused on, okay, we want to win this like U16 championship or whatever? Or how much of it was like, no, we just want to make sure you're a good goalie for next year and build on those blocks?
Yeah, a lot of it was mostly kind of development, like just because kind of where I grew up and stuff, we didn't have like the best hockey teams and we weren't always super good. So a big thing for us, like growing up, especially with the goalie coaches I did have, it was big in just development, like just developing like a good kind of foundation and skill set like to start out with, and then just constantly building those up and making them better every day. So it wasn't necessarily like at that young of an age, wasn't so much about winning and like, oh, we have to win. Like we have to win. It's like, no, okay. Like, yeah, it'd be nice if we won. Like it's good if we won, but it's more so like, we just want to get you ready for the next level. Like, like midget AAA, like that's what a lot of it was kind of getting me ready for junior. And then junior is same thing. Like in junior, it's a little bit more like, yeah, we want to win and we're going to do what we can to win. But with Boris Rawalka, like my coach for the first years in junior, he was always harping on like development, and that's all he wanted. Like he was a big development guy, and his biggest goal, like he would love to see guys get scholarships and go to the next level and move up in life. That was a win for him. Like he considered that a win, right? And he wanted to win, obviously, like everybody does in junior, but his big thing was development. So I think that really helped me kind of throughout my career. And like he always had like really good goalie coaches. Like I had two in Camrose, one Jamie McKaig my first year, who's actually he's got a goalie school here in Edmonton, and then Alan York, who took over for him, who works at the same goalie school. Like Yorkie, he played in the NHL for a little bit in the AHL, and like he was just awesome. Like he would come every week, and we would always do like video together. We'd always do like an hour-long goalie session with my goalie partner, whoever it was at the time and stuff. So just Boris kind of putting those resources in place for me was just awesome, and it was great to have, sort of thing.
Is that way different now in the AC? Is it like we're winning now because for the most part, like there is no next step for a lot of guys,
right?
or it's ambiguous.
Yeah, some guys like I'm sure like some of the older guys, like this might be their last year of hockey, right? So
which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, they don't care about developing. They don't care about that. Like they want to win,
especially with the start you guys had. Right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Those 5th-year players are going to be.
Yeah, like they want to win. They've been doing this for 5 years and they haven't won yet, right? So they want to win. They want to go out with a bang, and obviously like guys like me, like the rookies and the younger guys, like we want to win for them too, right? Like because if we were in our 5th years, we would want the rookies to play for us as well. Same thing, right? So we're all playing for them, and we want them to win, and we want to win as well too, right? So, and same thing with Joey. Like Joey is big on like he wants to win.
He seems like a player's coach.
Yes and no. Yes, I'd say TJ is more of a kind of the player's coach. Joey's more of just like he just wants to win.
He just wants to win.
Yeah,
That's
Joey.
great.
Yeah, Joey wants to win, and he'll do anything he can, whatever he has to do to win, which is awesome. Like I love that from a coach, and like if he has to be hard on the guys, he has to be hard, and like that's when guys just can't take it personally. Like just get over it. Like it's just for the good of the team. Like you gotta realize that like he just wants to win. So. And I think that's like most of the guys on the team, if not all of them, are kind of all in the same boat of we all want to win this year, and we know we can. Like we know we have the chance to do it this year. So and we don't know what next year's gonna bring, right? So like you got to take the opportunity when it's there.
That's the one thing I'm so curious. Like I want to talk to Joey at some point. Maybe he'll be on the show.
Yeah.
Because like what is it like to coach a team where you have like constant turnover? Like that's gotta be so frustrating.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this player's so good now. We worked on all this stuff, and now he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Now we start from scratch.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough thing. Like just kind of same thing with junior. Like you're always losing guys. It's not as much. Like we would only lose like a max of like 4 or 5 guys a year some years.
But they were often the best guys, weren't they?
Yeah. Usually they're either like the 20s are usually like some of your best players in junior and stuff. And like school's a little bit different. Like it's just like you lose like your 5th years, and then it's like it's such a gap between like the 5th years and the 1st years just because like the age and
you
stuff.
Think skill wise and maturity? Or...
I think just probably not so much skill wise, just more so maturity. Like the older guys just kind of know what to do and how to do it and stuff, versus the younger guys are still kind of in a junior mentality sometimes. And like especially myself, so I think just kind of getting out of that and just playing in the league more years is just part of like the experience thing. And then we'll be in that situation eventually, right? Like all the first years will, and we'll want the same thing that the 5th years want when they want from us. So yeah, like I think it's a good culture we have. Like it's a winning culture, and we definitely know we can win. So I think Nate in the next couple weeks here is going to be a good test for us.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, like I think it'd be awesome. Like if we got to play Nate in playoffs, like in the finals, I would love that.
It looks like that might be the way it's going.
It might happen. So I think that would be a really, really good kind of like finals round, and that would be a lot of fun, and it'd be a lot of like I don't even know how to say it. It would just be like a good atmosphere for
there better be
series.
fans.
Oh
There
yeah,
better be
yeah.
fans, or I'm
Well,
a
I
pro
think
fan.
Nate. Well, because Sate last weekend when we went there on Friday, I didn't go on the bus, but they were allowed fans there.
Wow.
At
Okay.
Sate, and so I think Nate is allowed fans now too.
Come on.
So
Concordia.
it's just Concordia's just
Let's
got to get on that train.
I mean, I don't want to be in the position to make those decisions, but if I was, fans would be in the stands. 'Cause it's a lot more fun.
It's just frustrating because you see like a minor hockey league game before us, and they got
that's
fans.
exactly what I thought. A couple days ago, I was working that game, and I was like, "What? These little 8-year-olds are getting fans?"
But we can't. We think it's dumb, but it's what it is.
I try and cheer, but it's
tough. It's tough in a quiet arena, but yeah.
Dang it! I had something else I was gonna ask. It was really important. This is why we can edit it. Dang, what was it? Oh my goodness! It totally lost me. I'll use this opportunity to get water. And make sure we're not running super late on time. Oh my goodness! It is 12:40.
Oh.
So we'll wrap things up in a time here. Just a brief sponsorship break here. Thank you to our sponsors. Nobody, if you'd like to sponsor. Sponsor this, I have a head. I can wear your hat. And we'll get it going. You can put a little sticker on the water bottle, guys. We'll make it happen.
There you go.
Are you like a huge Flames fan then?
Huge Flames fan. My grandpa.
Disrespectful.
Like I said earlier, season ticket holder for like 25 years or something.
So you went to games all the time.
Oh yeah, just growing up, like that's all me and my sister knew. Was, like,
so you like was Kippersoff the guy for you?
Yeah, he was big reason why I became a goalie.
Nice.
Like, I love that guy growing up. Like I still got a Kipper jersey at home.
Nice.
Nice. I love
Me
Kipper.
too.
He was awesome. It's just everything about him. Like he would smoke cigarettes in intermissions and stuff. And
Would
I thought
he really?
that. Oh yeah.
Man.
Like he would have somebody like wheel in and drive him out to the back door in a golf cart, and like he'd go smoke a cigarette, come back in, and it was awesome. Like just his whole kind of vibe around him was just awesome, and he was just a cool dude to watch, and he was a great goalie too. Like he was the best goalie in Calgary Flames history, in my opinion.
Well, hey, I grew up an Oilers fan. I know full well how good of a goalie he was.
Yeah.
He made us. Yeah, he stopped us numerous times. Kipper, and it seems like the Finns, man. They just seem to
Finnish
produce
goalies. They're just like
goalie after
Pekka Rinne.
goal.
He was a Finn. Like he was awesome too. I loved him. And European goalies are just good too. Like just they're just good the way they're trained and stuff over there.
Yeah, I like the like those Finnish goalies. It seems like the best Finnish players, like best 5 Finnish players at any given time. They're all goalies.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Have you been watching any of the anybody who's playing the Olympics?
I haven't watched much of the Olympics, no, honestly.
Because I haven't seen any of the men's team, but I was looking on there, and Eric Stahl.
Yeah,
the
there was
captain.
some. I saw some
37 years
like,
old.
Holy! Like,
I thought Eric Stahl was. I thought he had a contract Minnesota or something.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that guy in so long. And,
it's like good for him.
Yeah, I remember I saw the roster and I was like, holy, this is old. This team. Like,
well, yeah, and I think of stories like the Stahl brothers. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's got it. Like, man, you got it. Their parents must be getting tested.
Yeah.
What is in your gene pool?
Yeah,
you
that
just
you guys-
produce
yeah,
4
it's-
NHLers.
it's like
in a row
the
like
like
that.
the Hughes brothers too.
Hughes,
Like,
and those and they're not just like breaking the cusp. Like,
Yeah,
those
they're
are
like-
two
they're like-
highly skilled.
oh, there's 3 of them too.
Oh,
like
3.
they're-
That's
yeah,
right. The
they're
younger one
little
for
brother.
the
Yeah, I
Devils
think
now
he-
too.
Yeah, and like they're like they're all like top 5 picks, and it's
Yeah.
just like what the heck? Like,
I often feel bad for like the guys like Jared Stahl.
yeah,
A lot of people don't know Jared Stahl, and I
Yeah.
kind of feel bad for that.
Yeah,
Like
it's
he's
just-
better hockey player than we'll probably ever be.
yeah, but he's just got good brothers.
But but he's like the
so- 4th
4th best one in his
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
Which is just brutal.
Yeah, it's crazy to me, like some of the bloodlines in hockey that are just like spit out
Well, yeah,
unbelievable hockey
Alberta
players.
boys, you got the Sutters.
Yeah, exactly.
And they got 8 Sutter draft
Oh,
picks in the
God,
league so
there's so
far.
many of them.
Something crazy like that.
yeah,
Oh, I still can't remember what I was going to go with the. There was something legit. It was a legit question about. Maybe I already asked it, and I'm just completely blanking because I do kind of black out sometimes.
happens.
So I do want to know the downtime.
Yeah.
What do you do in the downtime? What's your hobbies? I guess are you a gamer?
Yeah,
I know you're into the sitcoms.
Yeah, I definitely I play a lot of video games too with a lot of my buddies from Calgary and stuff. In the winter it's tough. Like I try to go virtual golfing as much as I can because I'm a big big golf enthusiast and I love the sport. Like in the summer, that's all I do.
There must be some great places in Camrose then where you frequent.
They're okay. Like there's 2 kind of main courses because it's such a small town. So if you want to go somewhere nice, you have to drive out of town. But like the Camrose, like the course we played in Camrose was really nice and we liked it. But in the summer, yeah, like I try to do that as much as I can, and then kind of in the winter, it's more so just hanging out with the guys as much as I can, and then playing video games when I have free time, and then kind of studying. And it kind of takes up most of my time, like doing that. Like I'll try to work from time to time, and just go do goalie coaching or something, help people out and stuff like that. But yeah, for the most part, like I'm usually pretty busy with just between kind of hockey, school, and then just like all the other the video games, throwing those in, and then hanging out with the guys and stuff. So usually pretty busy for the most part.
Yeah, I did remember where I was going to go with this. It was kind of heavy, but
Yeah.
I know because you had mentioned you talking about the mental health side of it
Yeah.
and doing the meditations and then how that's really helped. Was there some guys? I'm sure you had played with some guys in the AJ, and I know if I were to talk to some senior members in the on Concordia for the ACAC, it's maybe a bit more prevalent. But did you ever see those guys that maybe could have used something like that, never got that sort of help, and then just sort of left the league with that maybe not getting the help that they needed?
Yeah. I don't know if I would say I've seen it firsthand, and right, because you never know what somebody's going through, right? And you don't want to just kind of go up to them and try to pressure them to tell you, or force something out of them that they don't want to talk about, right? So I don't think that I really saw guys like that. I know there's guys that would definitely benefit from it, just growing up, even seeing a couple guys in the AJ, I don't know if it would help them, but it would definitely benefit them, and you try to float it in there every now and then in conversation, but guys are like me and they're stubborn, and they you're no, shut up, it doesn't work and stuff, and I'm I don't know, man, you just gotta try, just give it a chance. And yeah, but I wouldn't say they needed it. There was guys that I saw that were absolutely needed it and stuff, but definitely something that could help a lot of guys out, just for the mental aspect of things. I know a lot of guys have a lot of pressure from their parents and from outside influences and stuff like that. That was never the case for me. My parents were always super supportive, and if I played bad, then they weren't gonna not talk to me or anything or get mad at me, right? It's hockey, it's just a game, it's just a sport, you do it for fun. And So like it's not the end of the world if you have a bad hockey game. There's always gonna
Oh,
be
man.
another hockey game, right?
Well, that's so good that you had parents that did that. 'Cause
Yeah. Like I was super lucky with that. Like I've seen guys like get texts from their parents after games just ripping them apart. Like you did so bad. It's just like there's just no need for it, right?
Yeah,
like,
you're not
like,
the coach, man.
Yeah, you're
Like,
probably gonna hear it from the coach already, and then you get on the bus and you hear it from your parents after, and then it just sucks for like that kind of thing. But and like those are the kind of guys that like would probably benefit from like meditation, just staying calm and kind of like tuning them out a little bit. Like sometimes you got to tune your parents out, as rude as it sounds, but like sometimes you do, like if they're kind of getting too involved and stuff, like they're not the ones playing, like they're not the ones going through it, right? You are. So sometimes you got to kind of tune them out and just kind of listen to yourself and listen to other people around you. So
and your parents have always just been that positive.
Yeah,
just
like
play for fun and good things happen. That's cool. But if they don't, whatever.
Like growing up, my dad would always ask me. He'd always ask me like, "Do you still like hockey? Like, do you still want to play? Like, is it still something you're interested in?" I'm like, "Yeah. Like, I still like love it and stuff." And he would always kind of check in with that stuff. And then like just my mom as well. She was always like huge supporter and like
most
like,
moms.
Yeah. Right. She's just a mom, and my mom hates that I'm a goalie because it makes her so nervous and stuff and anxious. So she hates that part, but she still supports it. Like I got it. Even my sister and like my grandpa. Like my grandpa. Man, that guy, like in junior hockey, he would come to as many games as he could. Like he would drive like 3 hours just for one game and go home that night. Like he was a huge support in my career, and he loves watching me play. And every time he gets the opportunity to come watch, he will. Like the best is when the Flames play on the same night I play, and like which one he picks is like it depends who the Flames are playing is kind of who he'll pick. But I always feel good when he always comes to my game instead, just because he loves the Flames, right? So. He was a big support, and just kind of like growing up, my whole network was awesome, and they were always there and whatever I needed. So I was super lucky in that aspect.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because you hear so many horror stories of kids that just get pushed way, way too hard, and then and also from such a young age, it's like it's so cool to hear your dad ask you that question. Like that's an important question.
Yeah, and
every hockey dad should ask their kid.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. Like obviously, like. I like growing up. I played a lot of lacrosse too. Like I think I played 7 or 8 seasons of lacrosse.
Were you goalie in lacrosse?
No, God, no. Okay. I couldn't do that. Those guys are getting scored on like 12 times a game, 10 times a game. I couldn't do that.
There's not enough time to meditate.
Yeah, no. There's not enough meditation in the world to help me get through that. But I was a face-off guy and more so of an offensive guy in lacrosse.
Oh, that's awesome.
Didn't really get to do it in hockey, so I thought I'd do it in lacrosse, and I love that sport. Like it was awesome. Like. I wish I would have played it a little bit longer, but I kind of stopped when I started playing junior hockey just because it takes up a little bit more time than kind of North Stars and stuff growing up. So, and then I've always been a big like basketball guy. Like I love basketball, and then golf as well. Like golf more so now than anything else, just because I'm getting super into it a lot. And other than that, like my dad would just always like try to get me to do different things and play different sports, just to see like. What I liked, and maybe I'd like something more in hockey. Maybe I want to pursue something a little bit more than hockey.
Was there anything like non-athletic that you liked, or was it just athletics the whole time?
No, honestly, I was a pretty athletic guy growing up. Like
you don't say.
Yeah. Like that's all I did was just sports, kind of like it was just fun to me, and like there wasn't like I hated school and reading and all that other stuff growing up. And, And when I was younger, I used to love Lego. I will say that I used to do a lot of Lego.
That was the last non-athletic hobby.
And I still do. Like I love Lego too, still to this day. But
I have a Harry Potter little Lego set.
Oh
way over there. You can't see it, but it's there.
I had so much growing up, and that was I love doing that. It was just so like calming and stuff. But yeah, for the most part, I was always playing sports or doing something active. Like going outside, doing whatever it was. So
with schooling, we'll wrap it up here shortly, just for everybody. But yeah, for schooling, you obviously that's like a non-athletic, not a hobby. That's something that you're doing. Is that something that now you're getting back into it? Like you said, you actually like these psychology classes. Are you now starting to see like, oh, maybe this education thing?
Yeah, it's not so bad. Right?
It's not so bad.
Yeah, it's actually pretty ironic because I actually want to be a teacher. Which
I was gonna ask. My next question is.
Yeah, so when I like told my parents that and like what I wanted to go to school for and everything, they're just like, what? And I'm just like, yeah, I want to be a teacher. And because I did like in Camrose, my billet mom over there, she was a principal at an elementary school there, and so like a lot of the time, like a lot of my free time, I would go to like their school and hang out with like kids over there and stuff, and do a lot of work in schools and the community in Camrose, and I really ended up enjoying it. And so like I want to be like an elementary teacher now. And
the young
it's just
ones.
ironic to me because like growing up, I hated school. Like I would hate going to school. I would hate like teachers. I would hate everything. And now I want to go do it for the rest of my life, sort of thing. So
That is really interesting.
yeah, when I tell people that, like they're just like blown away and it's like, no way you want to do that. I'm like, yeah, actually I do. And they're like, wow, crazy. So,
Oh yeah, because most people would have like oh, I want to be a teacher because I had this teacher.
Yeah.
And they were either A, really good,
Yeah.
and I wanted to be like them, or they were B, like really shit, and I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that other kids
yeah,
didn't have an
that
experience.
they
You're
don't
B.
have to go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I'm kind of a little bit of both. Like I had some good teachers growing up, like some really awesome people in my life. But yeah, no, it's just something that I like kind of found I really liked when I was in Camrose, just helping out with schools and stuff. So
Yeah, and I'm sure your three, I call them adopted sisters, I guess. Your three billet
yeah,
sisters.
yeah,
That must have helped,
exactly,
yeah.
right. And like one of them, like the youngest one, Adeline, she I lived with the family for 2 years before she was born.
Oh,
and then, Yeah,
wow.
so she was
Oh,
a
my
baby.
goodness.
She was like a
That's crazy.
fresh baby.
She still smelled like
yeah,
a baby.
Yeah, and so I got to watch her grow up a little bit, and like she's like 2.5 now or something, and like to this day, like she always like FaceTimes me off Andrew's phone just to talk to me
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
awesome.
Like yeah, so like she was a lot of fun to hang out with, and then like the other one who was, I think when I first got there she was 2. She's 2 or 3, and then now she's like 5.5, and then the other one's a little bit older. I think she's 10 now, but yeah, it's like crazy.
You never had younger siblings?
No, I have an older sister
Older,
at home
okay.
in Calgary, but like other than that, yeah, no, just never
Yeah.
had younger siblings. I always wanted them too, so like
There you
that
go.
was kind of like 4 younger sisters for me. It was awesome. It was,
Yeah,
it
that's
was
super cool. That is super cool. Yeah, I never. I was always curious. Like for me, like I've billeted a couple times, just not a long term,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
short term.
Yeah,
And it's always like a little awkward in the short term. So
Yeah.
that's cool that like you actually got to settle in,
yeah.
call it a home.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. That was the best part about it, like living there for 4 years and like
Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy that they
yeah.
opened their doors for 4 years. So how does? There was one other thing I didn't want to get to. Dang it. But whatever. I'll just go to it because who cares about time? Yeah. So how do you get confirmed to a school? How many schools approach you from the AJ, and how do you make that decision of like, okay, this is why Concordia over? I'm sure there were other schools that were interested. Right?
yeah. There's definitely a lot of schools kind of reaching out.
A
to
lot
me
of
and-
schools.
Yeah. There's like schools in the U.S. and then
Oh.
kinda schools out east in Canada, and then a couple other ones in the ACAC as well. And
That's gotta be awesome.
yeah, it was cool. Like it was fun to experience and stuff. And my
Like
biggest,
a little free agent.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yeah, kind of. And you're getting like kind of approached by all these teams. And no, for me, like the biggest thing was I was talking to my billet mom about it, and kind of for my program and education and everything. She
yeah.
always was saying like Concordia, and that's where she went to school, and
Oh, cool.
that's where she got her degree and stuff. So she was always saying like Concordia, yeah, like if a resume comes across my desk and I see Concordia University on, I'd take it a little bit more seriously, and I kind of put it off to the side, take a harder look at it, because she just said like she respects the program a lot. And so that was the kind of biggest thing for me. Like in the ACAC, for me, it was either here or Red Deer. And like Red Deer's education program isn't as good, and it's just a bit more of a hassle versus so here
Roasted red deer.
yeah. yeah. And so like a big part of it was kind of the school itself and just like the program itself, and it just fit perfectly for me. So that was a big chunk of why I came here. And then just hearing good things from Joey, and kind of he had a lot of the older guys like reach out to me, like Tyler and Matt both reached out, like Peck reached out.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of guys. And so just talking to them, and they were telling me what it was like being here, and like they all seemed like really good guys, and they were saying all the right things. So it just like worked out really good, and it was a good spot, like for situational
Yeah.
wise, it was a really good spot for me to be. So
And then you show up, and then they go on strike, and then
Yeah, that was-
and then school's online,
Yeah,
and
that
then you're
was
like,
tough.
did I make the right call?
Did I make the right call?
I think, yeah, man, I could talk for hours and hours,
Yeah.
but I think we can wrap it up there.
Yeah, that sounds
I
good.
don't want to hold up too much of your time, so I'll do a quick little outro. Thank you, everybody, for watching Gymsocks Sports. Yeah, this has been Michaelan, your host. I don't think I ever said my name, so I'll probably comp that into the beginning. I'm Michaelan. And Griffin Bowerman, thank you so much for being on the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was
We'll do a little clap.
yeah, a lot of fun.
A little
It
clap.
was a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun here. I like doing this sort of thing. So yeah, thanks for having me. And
Cool.
It was a lot of fun for me.
Awesome. Make sure you tell your teammates it's a lot of fun, because
Yeah,
I'll be
I will.
texting them.
I will for sure. I will
Nice.
let them know.
That's sick. Okay, cool. Cheers. Thank you, Painted Animals.
Let's go! When I was younger, I thought I would rise above it all.